Hi everyone. Hello. French Vinyl Addict on the third live today. Welcome to the show. It's a real pleasure. I have two friends of mine, VC friends. I started the channel 1 year ago, and it's pretty great. I have VC friends all over the globe. Friends, obviously, Europe, UK, America, Canada, New Zealand. So for the first time ever, Mr. David Atkinson. Welcome to the show.
Thank
How's
you
it
very
going,
much.
man? Yeah. And Steve from All the Words the Stage. I often mention Steve with all my videos. Has been very supportive for almost from day one. Um, Embryonic Robot. This is Brian. This is he wants to talk about a guy with a spreadsheet, so it piqued my curiosity. And since we've been sub to each other, so it's really cool. It's really in the concept of my channel, bring people together, reaching out, and making great things happen. So today we will be talking about our musical path journeys together, showing album that matter for us to us, and it's really cool. So how are you, Steve?
I'm doing great. I mean, David and I were just talking before we went on the air about our bad backs. I mean, other than that, everything is fine.
Yeah. So maybe we'll be waiting a couple of minutes that everyone will be tuning in. I don't see any comment. What is the weather in the UK right now? I know people.
It's been pretty good the last couple of
Yeah.
days. So I was out on the bike this morning, did about 35 miles, and it's pretty nice actually. It stayed dry today and yesterday, and forecast tomorrow. So it's been raining like crazy over here for the first quarter of the year, but it's good at the moment. Springtime.
Yeah, springtime. And how about in Chicago? How's the weather like?
65 and sunny today.
Oh man, that's great.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Lovely.
it's
You're
supposed to
60.
be, I think we're going to hit 80 on Monday or Tuesday. So,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
A- a-
exceptionally warm.
And it's been a very special week for both of us, Tim and I. We had the eclipse, which was
Yes.
really
Yeah.
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 But you weren't on the path though, were you? Or
We
did you
were
sit
the 90.
partial where you
We
were?
we were the 90 percentile. I think.
Oh, wow.
I think FBA. You were like 100, weren't you? 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
South Shore, Montreal. Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
yeah.
So,
And it lasted 2 minutes and 34 seconds where I was. So
okay.
great. Yeah,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah.
The wildest thing to me was the shadows.
Oh,
The
yeah,
shadows were just exceptionally long. I mean, normally at a certain time of the day, depending upon where the sun is at, you can get long shadows. But with this, it was pretty amazing.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
and this is perfect. This is the first shout out I want to make, Mr.
MGK is here.
MGK. Yeah, thank you very much. You really appreciated you were like teasing. You did an announcement video yesterday, and yeah, it's really nice of you. Thank you, Mike. Bonjour, mes amis. He speaks a little bit French. He's originally from Canada, I think. He's been living
Who's
in
that?
Boston.
MGK Boston.
MGK Boston. Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
living in Boston for
Originally Canada, but
yeah.
MGK is how I found your channel, David. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
all very
and the other way around, vice versa.
right. Yeah, it's all very incestual. I know.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really glad. As I said, it won't be like an interview kind of video. I won't only be asking question. You guys have the list. We all pulled together. We worked like really hard this week. So thank you guys. uh, so maybe we can start with the first topic. Let me just check. Pretty interesting. So okay. I think it's a perfect since David, it's the first time you are appearing on a live stream on YouTube. Is that right? You never
That's
had a
right. Yeah.
chance. You never had a chance before. Do you watch some streams? Are you a regular audience for some of our live?
I do and I don't. I see I usually see them afterwards because most of these live streams, at least the ones that I'm aware of, happen in North America. So
Yep.
it's it's past my bedtime by the time these things are typically over, especially if it's say on the West Coast. So I kind of watch them afterwards.
Okay. And yeah, you guys have a few live streams in from the UK vinyl community as well. I know Ian Ranking the Obscure. He has a weekly live stream, and so you're the first. Yeah, it's the first time, so I think it might be fair if you just try a very interesting topic. So yeah, intro your channel, the why and the wherefores. We want to know everything.
Okay, should take about 2 hours. I'll tell you what happened. What I used to do videos occasionally for my consulting business because I'm a bit of a negotiation specialist, and so I got used to the idea of doing videos for business, and those videos were done effectively by my brother, who would, he would try and film me while I tried to remember more than one line at a time, and then he said, basically, I'll tell you. Yeah, what happened was I got ill. I got a serious illness. And I remember reading, everything's fine, of course, but I remember reading that the thing we miss most about the people who pass is not their faces, it's the sound of their voices. And I've got 2 daughters, and I thought, oh, maybe I should record a little bit about what I'm like at this particular stage of my life, just in case things go wrong. And there's always something that my girls can kind of remember me by. Sounds incredibly morbid, but anyway, I started doing these videos, hiking, cycling. I also did kind of current affairs. So occasionally some political issue would get into my head, and I'd be chewing it over for 2 or 3 months, and then I'd feel the urge to do something about it. And I decided to start to commit some thoughts to video. And to cut a long story short, I was watching a video by somebody I don't remember, who did a rundown of the best albums by Genesis, which is one of my favorite bands over the years. First band I ever saw live. And I sat through about an hour of this stuff, and I thought, this particular guy doesn't really know what he's talking about, because he just made mistake after mistake after mistake. And it was one of these things where he'd read a couple of music magazines and put something together to try, maybe clickbait. And I thought, well, maybe I should have a bit of a go at that, because, I've spent a lot of time trying to, listening to the band and all that sort of stuff. So I did my own, and it was clunky as hell. And but it ended up being quite popular. I mean, it's got over 100,000 views 3 years later. 100,000 views, incredible. And I thought, well, that's kind of good fun. And then I did one for Van Morrison. I did one for Bruce Springsteen. I did a couple for prog rock. And ever since then, I've kind of dabbled in doing more and more that for the vinyl community, effectively. And that's kind of how I got started and where I am right now.
Yeah, by that time, did you were you already like a big fan of the vinyl community, like watching a lot of channels, following a certain VC member, or nothing at all?
No, I wasn't. I mean, I was watching videos, but this notion of hashtag vinyl community just didn't register to me until I started following, Mike MGK Boston, and I thought, vinyl community, this is a community going on here. So I started to put the hashtag in, and then realized there's a massive community of people out there, some really knowledgeable, experienced, and enthusiastic people. And I thought, oh, I'm going to start tagging my vinyl community, and I'm going to start following more and more people. And then, I followed Steve, and then multiple others. And so now I'm probably, subscribed to 100, maybe 150 members of the vinyl community.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
I'm retired now, by the way. So I wasn't retired when I started my channel. I'm retired now. So I got nothing to do all day except watch YouTube videos and ride my bike. So I can cover a lot of ground when it comes to the vinyl community now.
Cannot wait to be retired. And how about you, Steve? How whole things started?
Well, first, let me say thanks for inviting me, but I had great reservations about coming on here because when people hear the two of you talk with your accents and then you get my crappy Chicago accent, um, it's just,
I can speak like this if you want. The
yeah,
locals.
please don't. Nobody has ever said to me, "I love your accent," you know, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have gotten that many times.
No, no.
And actually, Mike, he says there about your Genesis rankings. I think that is the first one of yours I watched too, David, because I think that's what Mike had told me. He says you have to watch this. So I believe that was my first introduction to you. My channel, well, what happened? I can tell you the first time I came across the VC, it was during COVID. I know it was probably early 2021. And I was in bed. I always take my laptop with me into bed. So I'm sitting there just surfing around on YouTube for whatever reason. I don't know what I was looking for. I mean, it must have been something music related. And I come across this guy and he's showing albums he bought. And it's Gary from Physical Format Rock and Roll. So I'm watching it. My wife walks in. She says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just watching some guy watching, he's talking about the albums he just bought." And she says, "Why would somebody do that?" And so then I watched that and then started commenting on Gary's channel. And then because then I saw other people were commenting on his channel, then, I found those other channels, obviously. And Gary kind of kept encouraging me, saying, he says, "You should start up your own channel. You got a lot of great stories. You've seen a lot of good bands." And so I think, I don't know, maybe a couple months later, I finally got around to it. And I did it up until probably maybe August or September of 2021. And then I stopped. I was getting relentlessly harassed. Okay. And I just said, "That's it. I'm done." So I took off all of 2022 and I came back in January of 2023. And so far, so good. So that's how it came about for me.
How were you getting harassed?
Originally, it was through my email. So I changed my email. If you go on my homepage right now, on my VC channel, you'll see it says my email address is me@me.com. Okay, there is no such thing. So, but yeah, it was just it's just too much to go into here. But it became overwhelming, and so I just left, and I had actually taken on, while I was off, I set up a separate account just under a different name, just so I could still comment on people's channels I liked, but without bringing attention to myself. And so I did that for a while. And Gary and a couple other guys, Sam St. John, Rich Strickler, I would email with them every once in a while, and kept saying, "Yeah, I think I'll come back." And so I did, January 2023, and it's been great since.
Yeah. And this is also a perfect transition. A reason why I was hesitating a long time. Did I start? Why? Because I had no Facebook, I have no Twitter. I'm not a social guy, social network guy. Even though let's say I'm younger than you guys. I'm 38, so I was hesitating. I was following a lot of channels already back in the day when I was still living in France, and the trigger was when I moved here. People say, "Hey, you have a great experience. You brought your entire collection to Canada. You were starting traveling all around Europe. Now you're here, so you have your French minds, and both perspectives could be interesting." And I thought, yeah, okay, why not? And one of the channel that has more subs in French, he devoted me an interview, and I thought, okay, why? I could speak about my passion. I could share with you guys, and but I won't do that in French, because I had already a lot of French friends in Germany, in Switzerland, in the UK. So I thought maybe I could do that in English. Plus, the international vinyl community is much more bigger And yeah, I started one year ago, little by little, not talking about me, because who am I at the end of the day? So just like others, talking about our favorite bands. I think the first video series was about my go-to album when it comes to the prog genre, and step by step participating in live streams, saying hey, hello, exchanging with people, and yeah. So it's been a great adventure, definitely. Yeah.
If I may add something here, I think one of the things that I really like about particular channels, it's the ones that give a little bit more of a personal reflection. So
Yeah.
the ones that are either overproduced with loads of images or video clips or needle drops, they're good. You can tell there's a lot of work that goes into them. But what's really interesting is to hear people's experiences, and beyond just showing the latest album that I bought last week. And the ones that I tend to tune into regularly, in fact religiously, are the ones that you get to know the person a little bit.
I agree. Yeah, I
Yep.
agree. There are a lot of different channels. Overproduced can be ones, or without any editing. At the end of the day, it's the content and it's the sympathy you have for the person. And why do you follow people's channel? Because we all talk about records, music, and we all have pretty much the same experience. We were starting buying records as a kid or as a teenager, and now we share with people. So yeah, but this exchange and this video particularly today is a great opportunity to so the people can have a better let's say overview about what is our path, our journey. So what would be next, because it's also part of today of the first topic. We are mentioning the development since then. I'll maybe extend to the future. Do you have plans, David? Do you have projects on the go right now?
Well, I've got a notebook which has got a list of various lists of video ideas. So there's no shortage of musical videos that I'll be able to pull together. I am doing a bit of a series, which is kind of my top 20 albums for each year since the year I bought my first record. And I'm up to 1978, so there's a long way to go yet. But I'm hoping that's going to allow me to talk a little bit about, the bands I was seeing, where I was living, what I was doing with my work, but also how I was transitioning through the various genres, musical genres, and discovering more and more. Because what I listen to now was not what I was listening to in 1979. I've still got all the content here and elsewhere in the house, and I still drop into it occasionally. But basically, I'm trying to transition, tell a story of, really for my own benefit, really, rather than for an audience. It's kind of think, well, I kind of want to remember it all before I get dementia, so put something down. But also, just finally, you'll know from my channel that it's called kind of Life Matters, and it's about the matters of life. And there are things that are going on in each of our lives beyond the vinyl community, which for me, I want to capture a little bit of that, my cycling, maybe views on current affairs and things like that. So mine is going to continue to be a bit of a mixture. But kind of the majority, probably about 70-80% is still going to be the vinyl community type stuff.
It's a very interesting. During the first live stream, I have with me another Steve, formerly Vinyl Chef Steve, and he's very into jazz. Not only, and now he decided to branch off, since Vinyl Chef Steve was about food and was about a bit music, and he decided to create or to separate both topics. So now he has a channel called the Record Mission.
Yeah.
And how is it with you? Is that okay? I mean, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I really like, by the way, your non-music related content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that obvious? Is that what has been always? How? Yeah.
Well, I think I'm right up front with people. I mean, if I'm doing a video when I'm out on a long cycle ride, and someone from the vinyl community clicks on that because, you know, they get a notification I've got a new video. It's not for them. Absolutely fine. Just forget it. Just wait for the next musical one, or vice versa. I did think about the having separate channels. I do have a business matters channel that's been sitting around there for years, which I don't do anything with for the last few years. That's still out there. But I decided not to separate my content, and I'll tell you why. I don't know what I'm interested to hear what you guys have got to say about this, but there is something about when you're producing content that you can become too aware of an audience. And I don't want to play to an audience. I don't want to do stuff that's just going to appeal to this community, because I feel as though I'm going to be a bit trapped. So I kind of take this terribly pretentious artistic approach by saying, look, you get what you get. Tune in if you like it. If you don't, absolutely fine. See you next time. Because I'd kind of do it really for me, and I don't want to feel obliged to do it for this audience out there that, you know, most of which I don't know, and they don't really know me either.
What do you think, Steve? And what are your future projects?
Well, you know, to finish up or to follow up on what you and Dave were talking about right before he started answering that question was, you know, David, you had said, you know, you watch a channel and it's, you know, it's like watching an MTV video almost, because they've got the flashy graphics, the quick cuts and everything. They're obviously very skilled people, but I'm kind of with you too. It's not what I'm looking for. For me, it is all about the personality. If I comment on your videos, odds are I like you as a person, or certainly as the way you come across on camera. So I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. There are other people that I will comment on, but if you see me frequently enough in your comments, you know, that's going to tell you what I'm thinking about your channel. And I'm sure that's true with most people. I mean, I have people who comment on my channel on a regular basis, and I'm just assuming they're there because for whatever reason they like me, or at least at the minimum, they like my content. And what am I going to do for the future? You know, I hear people always say, you know, I'm struggling coming up with an idea. Well, for whatever reason, I do not have that problem. That's why I'm making a video a day. and you know, I always tell people, you know, I don't expect you to comment on every video I make, because it's just a lot. I mean, I know what I have, you know, going on during my day, trying to comment on all the people who I enjoy. And sometimes it feels almost like an impossible task. And I mean, one good thing about me, I get by on very little sleep, you know. I mean, I can tell you last night, this was my sleep. I think I went to sleep at 9:30. I woke up at 11:30, sat there and listened to a couple podcasts until about 2, fell back to sleep, got up at 5:30. I've been up since. Okay. Now I will not go back to sleep tonight, probably until 9:30 again. So, and I've always been like that. I've always been able to function with very little sleep. So I could just lay there in bed too and run around ideas in my head. So, you know, I've got that extra time to think, to come up with ideas.
Yeah.
You know, right now I'm in the middle of showing my entire collection, because the idea started with, I wanted to do a purge. You know, we were talking right before we went on that I'm going to be moving in about a year and a half. I'm not going to move all this stuff that I do not listen to. In particular, there's a lot of CDs that I just never listened to, because I bought a lot of them in the 90s. 90s is not a good decade, I don't think, for guys my age. There's not a lot of great music there, at least for me. So I decided I'm going to start just going through it, playing them, see which ones I want to keep. If I don't want them, I'm just giving them away to other people in the VC. I'm not going to sell them. They give you nothing at the shops for them. You know, they'll give you 50 cents a CD. I don't know how it is over in the UK, David, or
same story.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I'd rather throw it out than take 50 cents. So I just give it to friends.
Yeah.
I think I've shipped out already now, probably about 150 CDs since I started this about a month ago. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going through my entire collection. I show that. and then it also helps me with my purge. So that's going to take me a long time to go through because, you know, I've got, I don't know, 2,200 albums and like 4,500 CDs. So, you know, I'm not going to sit there for a half an hour and show parts of an alphabet. I try to keep every video under 10 minutes, whichever ones I get through in that time. That's it.
Wish I could.
Yeah. And if I have to talk about my project, doing live stream is already a 2024 project, so it's been quite a success. I'm very happy, and of course now I have a lot of work, you know. So it's all about time. I'm gonna see my family and friends in 2 weeks from now. A lot of change in my job. I had a trade fair exhibition this week, so sometimes it's really hard to keeping up with YouTube, with other engagements, and but yeah, probably doing some stuff outside. The video I made recently about my 10 favorite record place in Montreal has been quite successful, or let's say people are watch that, and now the idea is to go to meet the record store in person and maybe doing some little reportage or a small capture there. But yeah, time that's the problem.
I think one of the things that I would add is that when you see like rundown videos, you know, the best to the worst or the worst to the best albums of a particular artist, I think one of the problems I experience is just getting started. You know, it's like just getting the energy up to actually do a video. It's not, you know, it doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy at all. And I find that one of the things that helps me is that I give myself permission not to know everything about the artist I'm talking about. So I just did a video a couple of weeks ago on Yes. I've been following Yes since 1973, but I wouldn't say they're my favorite band. And so I kind of prefaced my comments by saying, this is not the video for you if you're looking for expertise on the band. And I think when you give yourself a little bit of freedom, a bit of latitude to say, you're not required to be an expert, it kind of makes the whole job a little bit easier and a little bit less stressful.
What
Yeah.
year are you born, David?
I was born in well, I'll tell you what, it was the third or fourth track on the Police's first album on the side 2. I was born in the 50s. I was born in 1959.
Okay, I was born in 56. So
Wow.
right. So
I
that's
thought you were
why.
younger than me, Steve.
Pardon me?
I thought you were younger than me.
Oh, well, thank you. But because you said 73, that's why I was just curious. So
Yeah.
okay, you were 14 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was born in 1986, so if you yeah.
Look at all those years ahead of you.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump into the second topic, if you might.